Representative Andrew Stoddard is sponsoring a bill that, if passed, would subject parents to a Class C misdemeanor if they don't keep their gun in some kind of locked container and then their kid uses it or shows it off in public or they threaten someone with it.
This is a bill that's very similar in language to one that Florida passed after the Parkland shooting there. And what we want is for gun owners to be responsible.
Stoddard says the goal of this is not to push harsh criminal penalties, but rather to get everyone's attention and take the issue seriously.
I'm not looking at this all rainbows and unicorns where this is going to solve all our problems. It's not. But I think anything we can do to, one, increase awareness that this is an issue and a solution is going to help.
The bill also adds legal protections for parents when, in the worst case scenario, they wouldn't face criminal charges if they can prove their gun was stored properly. Stoddard also made it clear this bill would not target parents whose children die by accidental gun suicide, but he does think this bill could help prevent more of those tragedies from happening. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story from ABC News. While talking with reporters outside the White House today, President Trump was asked about Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, with whom he met at the White House yesterday.
I got to know her. I never met her before, and I was very, very impressed. She's this is a fine woman.
This after Machado gifted him her Nobel Peace Prize. Other national stories KSL is following. President Trump unveiling a new health care plan that he has long promised, but not providing a lot of details.
His announcement comes as health care costs for more than 20 million Americans have skyrocketed in recent weeks after Republicans failed to extend expiring Affordable Care Act subsidies. Astrid Story, a mom and small business owner in Denver, Colorado, is currently battling thyroid cancer. Her monthly premiums have soared from $1,400 to $1,900.
How is that fair? How is that fair to a cancer patient that their first thought has to be, am I going to be able to afford the treatment that is going to keep me alive?
ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce reporting. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 29 points, sitting at 49,412. S&P is up by 7 points, and the NASDAQ is up by 24 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU, love where you bank. What's happening, Ricky?
Still dealing with some reduced visibility out there along some of our roadways, especially to the west of I-15 West Valley up into Davis County. And for those who are traveling any of the Valley freeways, no problems reported there. We do have a crash still being cleared in Utah County. This is eastbound SR 92 at the Alpine Loop Road. It's blocking a right lane of travel. New year, new home ideas. The South Jordan Home Show is this weekend at the Bastion Agri Center. Meet local contractors, explore the latest in home improvement, and save time and money. Free admission and parking. Details at southjordanhomeshow.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
For the first time this week, a slight chance of showers creeping into the forecast, but we have to look all the way to Thursday for that very slight chance of showers. Today's high 42, then staying in the mid-40s for the next few days. 36 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Dozens of protesters gathered today to protest the rumored building of an ICE facility in Salt Lake City. This is based off of a leaked document that lists an address in Salt Lake as a possible mega center facility that will house about 7,500 immigrants. Joining me now live is KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson, who talked with some of the protesters today. And so give us the latest on what we know, Heather.
So, Maria, today's events all stem from this internal document that was apparently leaked to some news agencies. On that spreadsheet are 23 potential sites for ICE to build processing and large-scale immigration detention facilities. Salt Lake City is on that list. It says there's more than 1 million acres around 1197 North and 6550 West that could house 7,500 beds. That list also said a site visit was scheduled for today to scope it out, and that's why there were protesters there this morning.
So what do we know about this site?
So I talked with one of the protesters, Michael Valentine, who's with Utah for Palestine, but this is also a very close issue to his heart. He says this is really what they know so far.
And they have ones that are like light processing sites where they're supposed to hold up to 1,500 people, and then just like move people to these larger mega sites. And that's kind of what this list that was leaked potentially is like. Ours would be a mega site that holds 5,000 to 10,000 people, which is absolutely crazy because this warehouse is not geared for that. There's not the plumbing for that. There's not the infrastructure to house that many people. And in the article in the Washington Post, there was this horrific quote from the director of ICE saying that they need to be more organized like a business, and they want to start housing people like Amazon ships packages but for human beings, which is absolutely crazy to hear, and just this really dehumanizing.
So I set out to verify what he told me, and I can tell you that the address listed is a large warehouse. I looked at it today. It appears empty, but it is massive, and it's part of one of 4 buildings that are all owned by this so-called company XR Quadrant LLC, and that appears to be owned by the Ritchie Group, which is a local real estate company. This is in the industrial area west of the airport, not far from the massive Amazon fulfillment center. We've reached out to those companies for verification or comment, but haven't heard back. I also reached out to the city and state representatives who represent this district of Salt Lake City, but no one's responded yet to calls for comment or verification. So to clarify, this is still all based on a leaked document, as well as some other prior reporting from agencies like the Washington Post, who say Salt Lake City is one of the target cities for these ICE facilities.
Okay, so you went and talked to these protesters. What are some of the other things you heard from them?
So I had an interesting conversation with a man named Charlie Padilla. He's with the We the People movement, and he told me why this site and why today are they protesting.
Here, they are proposing that they use these commercial spaces owned by the Ritchie Group, and they want to convert them into concentration camps for our immigrant community. And, you know, it doesn't matter where they go up. It doesn't matter what space they try to use. We will reject it. We will fight it. Specifically for these, they're not zoned correctly. They're zoned for commercial use and not for housing people and doing any human rights violations that they're going to be doing. And they want to put these in commercial spaces. And again, those are just, the justification for this specific instance. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter what the resource is. We cannot allow for these camps to be put up in our neighborhoods, in our state, or even in our country or anywhere else. Anywhere that they try to put it, we will show up and we will fight it.
There was about 24 or so protesters there. I wasn't there quite at the beginning, but definitely a lot of strong feelings about an ICE facility coming to Salt Lake City, and especially at this site here today.
Okay, before this document was leaked, was there any word of a proposed ICE facility for Salt Lake?
Yeah, the Washington Post and a couple other news agencies have previously talked about Utah being a site. We know at some point that Hill Air Force Base was on the list of proposals. I haven't heard anything about that recently, but yeah, this site was visited by government officials today as a potential location, so we'll see how this shakes out.
All right, thank you, Heather. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson joining me live. We do have some breaking news. It's happening right now. The man charged with shooting and killing political influencer Charlie Kirk is making an appearance in court. Tyler Robinson is accused of assassinating conservative activist Kirk at Utah Valley University in September of last year. He faces aggravated murder and multiple felony charges, including obstruction of justice. Let's just listen into a bit of the court hearing that's going on right now.
The hearing on this motion remains open and becomes closed, so I'm going to bear that in mind in terms of my preliminary statements, if I may. When we filed this motion to disqualify, and when I say we, I mean Mr. Robinson's counsel, we fully expected that what the Utah County attorneys would do is refer the motion to the Attorney General's office so that the Utah County attorneys are not in the position of representing their own interests as potentially conflicted attorneys and a potentially conflicted office, and representing the state's interest in the prosecution. We heard informally from the state's attorneys that they were preparing a response and when it would be provided. And then what we received, and again, I'm bearing in mind that we're in an open hearing at the moment, was a brief where I'm going to say the unsworn representations of two attorneys from that office are basically integrated into points and authorities. We don't have affidavits from Mr. Gray or from the other attorney. We have argument. We noted in our reply that we were surprised, that's in footnote 2 at page 4, that the Utah County attorneys were representing themselves in connection with a motion alleging that they have a conflict of interest and that the state was not being represented through the Attorney General's office. We did some further research on this and we have some case law that we can provide the court. I suspect that the court is very familiar with the fact, just from its own experience, that in appropriate circumstances, the Attorney General's office can either, one, represent the state in what was a county prosecution with respect to a disqualification motion so that the boundaries are clear, or if there's an ultimate finding or conclusion that there is a conflict of interest, take over the prosecution or assign it to another county. So we're very concerned that we're getting off on the wrong foot, if I can use that metaphor, because we have officers of the court who are both representing their own interests in continuing to be the prosecutors in this case and representing the state in a situation where there should be what I would call, at least temporarily, conflict counsel. I'm not sure that's the term the Attorney General uses, representing the state's interests. There's a Supreme Court decision which is called State v. Jimenez, Jimenez, which I can provide a citation for. There are subsequent cases, but it's pretty clear that this is the type of a case. I'm not saying that Jimenez compels that action, but it seems to me to strongly suggest that where there is a showing, I'm not sure what the threshold showing is. I don't want to say it's a prima facie showing or a reasonable concern, but where there's a showing that there very well may be a conflict of interest that hasn't been handled by a particular state attorney's, county attorney's office, that what's in the interest of the litigation, of the public, of the parties, is for the Attorney General to step in. And the citation for State v. Jimenez, if I may, is 588 P. 2nd 707. Of course, I can provide the court with the Utah citation as well. This court actually has the authority under that case, State v. Jimenez, to direct the Attorney General to step in, not for the entire case at this stage, that's not what we're saying is necessary, because that requires a finding of a conflict of interest, but to step in or to designate somebody to step in for the purposes of litigating that motion. Okay. And so we're very concerned that even going forward with an evidentiary hearing where members of the Utah County Attorney's Office are both litigating as representatives of the state in a prosecution and essentially defending their own propriety of proceeding in this prosecution is problematic. As far as being prepared, we're of course prepared to go forward with an evidentiary hearing, but we think that it's improvident, and we think that what the court should do if the Utah County attorneys have not or don't, if given the opportunity, do this on their own, is that the court should designate the Attorney General's office for the purpose of litigating this motion. The court might ask, hypothetically, the question, has the Utah County Attorney's Office conferred with the Attorney General about this particular question? And we are not in the dark, because as Ms. Nestor will tell the court, as an officer of the court, she's spoken with the Attorney General's office, and they have not been consulted about this. Okay? So this is a motion to disqualify a county attorney's office based on what we believe is a material, significant conflict of interest that it's clear they haven't even tried to address by way of a screening, which of course is a term of art, because their position is no screening was necessary. We're not even here to discuss whether the way in which a particular attorney was screened off was adequate. Their position, as their own advocates, is we've already decided no screening is necessary.
And you were listening to Tyler Robinson's attorneys talking about their motion to dismiss the Utah County prosecutors in Robinson's case. Robinson, as you recall, is standing trial for the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. These are pretrial motions that we're listening to. His defense, again, claiming that attorneys in Utah County have a conflict of interest and should step down, and the state attorney general's office should take over this case. Let's get you up to date. I should say, KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is in the courtroom. He's going to have more details for you on this hearing throughout the afternoon. Let's check traffic now. Traffic is brought to you by UCCU. Supercharge your savings at uccu.com. Any trouble spots, Ricky?
We do have an accident southbound I-215's West Belt prior to the 201 junction, not blocking any traffic. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
When you're making resolutions for the new year, have you ever thought of making a resolution to get a new metabolism?
So that your body is burning fat more naturally. I used to have a terrible metabolism because I didn't know what to eat or when to eat it until I did Soda weight loss. I let go of 37 pounds, and now my metabolism works for me.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and it was so nice because once that metabolism changes, the things that affected you more regularly don't affect you anymore. And those are the things that I learned from my nutritionist as I was going along and even afterward. It's so helpful. They taught me how to be successful for life.
You can call and speak to a nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss today at 866-800-SODA, S-O-T-A. That's 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sodaweightloss.com and see the hundreds of before and after pictures. And right now is the best time to do it because if you join now, your partner joins for free, so you get 2 transformations for the price of 1.
It's 866-800-SODA.
Because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
It all started with a commitment to comfort. Gillette Heating and Air is proud to be Utah County's go-to team for expert HVAC and plumbing solutions. Need a repair, upgrade, or seasonal tune-up? Don't let cost hold you back. With 0% financing available, it's easy to get the work done now and pay later. Plus, save $100 on any repair over $500 and keep your system running strong with a professional tune-up before the heat hits. Visit GilletteHVAC.com or call 385-GET-COOL to book today. Homegrown service pros, financing made simple, comfort made easy.
Carrier, turn to the experts. A Carrier factory authorized dealer.
Calling all Jazz fans. If you can't wait another second to see stars like Ace Bailey and Lowry Markkanen tear up the court, you're in luck. Tickets are on sale now. Let's go! No matter what you're looking for, the Utah Jazz has your back. With season tickets, mini plans, and single game options available, there's something for everyone. Whatever your schedule or budget, there's a plan for every fan. Don't miss a moment of the action this season. Secure your tickets today at UtahJazz.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Utah is one of the best places to live, work, and raise a family. But for many Utahns, the dream of owning a home is slipping away. Home prices have risen faster than incomes, and families are spending nearly 2/3 of what they earn just to keep a roof overhead. From young graduates to grandparents, everyone is feeling the squeeze. Utah needs more homes, the right kinds of homes, so families can stay close and our communities can thrive. That's why Utah Workforce Housing Advocacy created Demand More Supply, a statewide effort helping Utahns understand the issue and take action in their own communities. Because when we work together, we can make housing affordable again for today's families and for future generations. Let's make the dream of owning a home a reality again. Learn more and add your voice at DemandMoreSupply.com. DemandMoreSupply.com. That's DemandMoreSupply.com.
Let's be honest. The National Symphony may not be in his future, but he wanted to try violin. So you said yes because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more about keeping your kids safe in your vehicle at nhtsa.gov/therightseat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/therightseat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. President Trump is threatening to put tariffs on countries if they don't support his push for the U.S. to take over Greenland.
I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security.
European allies have expressed strong objections to the president's repeated calls for the U.S. to acquire Greenland, a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark. His threat of new tariffs raises the questions about what it would mean for trade deals his administration reached last year with the UK and the European Union. While the president continues his push for the U.S. to take over the island, members of Congress are pushing back. A bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers are in Denmark today to reassure Danes of American congressional opposition to President Trump's threats. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska after a meeting with representatives from Denmark and Greenland.
When it comes to matters of relationships with our friends, with our allies, as we have here in Denmark, as we have in Greenland, that it is not a subject of Republicans versus Democrats. It is a recognition, again, of a strong and a continuing relationship over decades.
Senator Murkowski was asked what can be done in the face of Mr. Trump's constant statements concerning acquiring Greenland.
Congress has a role in basically helping to facilitate the message that comes from our constituents to be reflected in whether it's legislation or appropriations or actions or measures that can indicate, again, the will of the Congress.
She told reporters that Greenland deserved to be treated as an ally, not an asset. Democratic Senator Chris Coons of Delaware says Greenland should be in control of their own future.
We spoke about the value of NATO and the commitment to respecting the core principles of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and self-determination. And we spoke with clarity about the importance that the people of Greenland make their decisions about their future.
Senator Coons thanked the people of Denmark and Greenland for their allyship, saying he hopes that they can ensure it continues well into the future. On Inside Sources this morning, host Holly Richardson asked Representative Celeste Malloy point blank, will the United States invade Greenland?
Are we going to invade Greenland?
I don't think so. That is the question everybody's asking. I don't think we're going to. Greenland is an ally. In fact, somebody told me this week that the place in the world that celebrates the 4th of July outside of the United States is Greenland. Like, they are the most pro-American, most excited about our Revolutionary War outside of the United States. So we'll see. There's going to be some drama over the next little while. We'll see what happens. Greenland is in an important position in the world for geopolitics. But
all right.
I'm not preparing.
Rest easy, Holly. Rest easy.
This morning, President Trump said his administration has been in contact with NATO about his plans. A new sports betting scandal, dozens of basketball players charged with rigging college games.
Kevin Cross averaged 12 points a game for Tulane, but on this night against East Carolina, he could barely hold on to the ball. A new indictment says Cross agreed to underperform in exchange for a $30,000 bribe. He's one of more than 36 players from 17 Division I teams that federal prosecutors accuse in a point-shaving scheme. They say fixed games so gamblers could make millions in fraudulent bets.
This is a prosecution of the criminal corruption of collegiate athletics. And when criminals rig the outcome of games for the purpose to lose, rather than to win, we all lose.
Now Hunter will get the Cowboy defender airborne and miss the shot. In this game, the indictment says University of New Orleans guard Sedquavius Hunter agreed to underperform against McNeese State in exchange for thousands of dollars in bribe payments. Pass Hunter once again. This time he hits the three-pointer. In an interview with our Will Reeve, Hunter admitted to point shaving.
I make a couple and miss a couple. I was money hungry. That's all it was, money hungry.
Other indictments have recently taken aim at illicit gambling tied to the NBA and Major League Baseball. The NCAA says it's time to get rid of prop bets, those small side wagers on player performance that have become wildly popular. But guys, there's a lot of money on the table.
And that is ABC's Aaron Katersky reporting. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Eye on the Hill with just days to go until the state's legislative session begins. We're getting a preview of what you can expect to see over the next 2 months. Pinball Wizards descending on downtown Salt Lake City this weekend for a massive pinball competition. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
A delay-free drive on all the Valley freeways. Maria?
Don't expect much of a change in the forecast for this weekend. In fact, not much of a change in the forecast for the next 7 days. It will get a little bit warmer till we reach almost 50 degrees by next week. 37 degrees downtown.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. After cutting or eliminating federal funding for health care, President Trump held a roundtable on rural health care needs, vowing to lower costs for Americans. Here's ABC's Mary Bruce.
Facing pressure to tackle the rising cost of living, President Trump unveiling what he's calling his great health care plan.
The government is going to pay the money directly to you. It goes to you, and then you take the money and buy your own health care.
But it's not clear how that would work. Details of the plan are sparse. It's just a few paragraphs on the White House website.
In Utah, a hearing underway this hour for Tyler Robinson, the man accused and charged in the fatal shooting of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk last fall. Robinson's attorneys are asking a judge to remove a prosecutor from the case, alleging a conflict of interest since a relative of the prosecutor was at Utah Valley University when Kirk was killed. A winter storm sweeping across the Midwest and could bring snow to parts of the South this weekend. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story, a step forward in the breakup of the Alpine School District. The newly formed district, Northern Utah County, now has an official name. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has more.
Nearly all school board members voted in favor to name the new district.
With a vote of 6-1, the name will be Timpanogos School District.
That district will include schools in Linden, Pleasant Grove, Orem, and Vineyard as the community prepares for the full split from Alpine School District ahead of the 2027 start date. The vote wasn't unanimous. One board member voted against it, citing students and parents in Orem disagreeing with the choice. Board leaders say choosing a name is a key milestone as the district moves forward with hiring leadership and finalizing boundaries. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. Congresswoman Celeste Malloy joined Inside Sources this morning to allay some fears about the upcoming budget vote coming through Congress. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott reports.
Congresswoman Celeste Malloy told Inside Sources that it is not lost upon the federal government that people are afraid of a shutdown like the one we saw in October. With the disappearance of SNAP benefits, VA hospitals, and pay for the military last year, it was a hard time for the country. But Congresswoman Malloy says lawmakers have created a provision that guarantees Americans won't be left out in the cold if the budget doesn't get passed right away. These provisions will fund the Capitol Police, VA, and military for as long as it's needed. She also said she's excited about the upcoming budget bill, saying its cuts are a historic victory for the American deficit.
The vote for the budget will be held on January 30th. Today, the owner of Salt Lake City's dance club and bar, Sun Trap, Mary Peterson, announced that she's stepping away from the business. This comes after a long employee strike and unionization that started a couple of months ago, temporarily closing the bar. Peterson says that conflict took a lot out of her and she has to step away for her own well-being, but she hopes her absence will allow Sun Trap to heal and move forward. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 86 points, sitting at 49,354. S&P up by 118 and up by just a 1 point. And the NASDAQ, it's just very flat today. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU. Love where you bank. Ricky?
It looks like a lot of the fog and inversion has lifted in many areas. That's good. But for those who are traveling I-215's West Belt, we do have a small accident. It's been moved out of traffic as you're approaching the SR 201 junction. No delays there or on any of the other Valley freeways. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers, all connected to advanced health care in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Health care with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The updated 7-day forecast still calls for dry days for the next 6 days, then a very slight chance of showers next Thursday. Right now, 37 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cypress Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypresscu.com today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. K-A-R-S, Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Refresh your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Reimagine your bathroom with up to 40% off select faucets during our Bath Savings event. Need it today? Order by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Same-day delivery on eligible in-stock items, subject to availability. Fees vary. Visit Lowes.com/same-day delivery for full terms.
Need to replace your Social Security card? In most states, you can request one online with a My Social Security account. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can also get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Eye on the Hill, the legislative session is just days away. A proposal from one Utah lawmaker could make it to where parents would face criminal penalties if their kids got a hold of their gun if it isn't stored properly and do something illegal with it. The bill is being sponsored by State Representative Andrew Stoddard.
This bill attaches a low-level criminal penalty if someone fails to secure a firearm and a minor gets possession of that firearm and does something illegal with it. And this is a bill that's very similar in language to one that Florida passed after the Parkland shooting there. And what we want is for gun owners to be responsible for safe storage of their guns. And, you know, this is a way we've tried carrots for a lot of years, providing, you know, access to locks and safes and things like that. And it's worked great, but we've still got work to do. And so this is the next logical step.
He's run the bill before, but hopes it'll make more headway this time around.
You know, these are good things that we're trying to make sure that our public ed students are safe, and we want them to feel safe in schools. But if we're not requiring anything on this level, we're really neglecting an important part of this problem.
Representative Stoddard tells KSL News Radio's Adam Small one of the concerns that he's heard before deals with accidental shootings involving children.
It's not just a minor gets it. And, you know, that's one of the things that came out a lot is, are we going to punish these parents whose child dies by an accidental shooting suicide? And that's not the case at all. This is for the kid that takes it out and uses it in some form. And it's to essentially hold those gun owners responsible.
He says he knows this bill won't fix all the problems dealing with shootings, but says he hopes it at least makes some kind of difference.
You know, I'm not looking at this all rainbows and unicorns where this is going to solve all our problems. It's not. But I think anything we can do to, one, increase awareness that this is an issue and a solution is going to help. And, you know, hopefully we do have a community that embraces this and actually starts to think about, oh, wow, yeah, I should lock up my firearms. Not just for fear of the Class C misdemeanor penalty, but also just for the good of the community. You know, I have no problem with people owning guns. That is a constitutional right. This does not infringe on that in any way. But I do have a problem with people who are reckless in the storage of those firearms. And, you know, we've seen that bad things can happen. And I hope that this can put an end to some of those things happening.
If it's signed and passed into law, parents would be subject to a Class C misdemeanor if their gun isn't stored in some kind of locked container and their kids get it, show it off, or use it in some sort of public way, or threaten to someone with it. Lawmakers on Utah's Capitol Hill also working to make sure high schoolers enter adulthood with a better understanding of their legal and civic responsibilities. Eye on the Hill, our preview of the upcoming legislative session continues. Utah State Senator Kathleen Reeby has a bill dealing with citizenship education, which would require school districts to ensure 10th graders are taught about legal contracts, credit card debt, and the consequences of breaking the law.
We have like citizenship bills and we have digital literacy bills, and we're really trying to make our students more aware of what their responsibilities and their legal implications of their responsibilities. And so as we've started to move through our bills, we are seeing a trend of where kids sometimes get themselves into debt. Sometimes they don't know that they are supposed to, they're being, signed up for contracts as an adult, or they're supposed to register for the draft, or they're not supposed to have sexual relationships with people that are younger than they are. And so just kind of aligning the requirements and the legal repercussions and the legal responsibilities of the age of 16 and 18. So those benchmarks are very, very different than from like 14, 15, 12. So just making them aware. And, I've worked with school districts, and the School Boards Association has reached out to me saying that, maybe we could just have a committee that gets together to discuss this. And it's a may instead of a shall, which creates latitude, doesn't add any extra funding. I just got the fiscal note, and it'll be zero, I believe. So just a light reminder. And, maybe this could be sent home to the families to say, talk to your kids about their legal responsibilities and the legal repercussions if they don't follow through.
Senator Kathleen Reeby tells KSL News Radio's Isabella Sosa that with all the access kids have to the world today because of the internet, it's more important than ever to help young people make sure they are making smart decisions so they don't jeopardize their future.
We've seen every year with legislation and also news stories that, kids are getting caught in the crosshairs between social media and wasting money online and becoming further in debt earlier on in life. And so just a trend in life that kids have access to so much, and they have the ability to, unintentionally get into self-harm, like not self-harm physically, but like financially and legally. So just really making them aware, like, this is a fast-moving world. There's, financial predators out there. There are sexual predators out there. There are just a lot of potholes in the world. And so just putting those guardrails around those experiences and, putting up safety cones so they don't get caught.
If the bill becomes law, it would go into effect in 2026-2027 school year. We do have some breaking news here on KSL News Radio. First case of measles has been reported in Weber County. The Weber Morgan Health Department says that there have been 2 unrelated cases, but are still working to identify areas where the public could have been exposed. Health officials are urging people to watch closely for symptoms and call a physician before coming in person for treatment. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
If you're tired of hot, uncomfortable dress shirts that just don't hold up, sweat stains, stuffy collars, short tails, sound familiar? Meet your new favorite dress shirts from Serve Clothing. The game-changing design features a mesh collar shield that stops sweat stains from ruining your look. Plus, built-in vents keep you comfortable under suits and jackets, no matter the season. You'll love the extra length that stays tucked in and the antimicrobial odor-fighting fabric that keeps you fresh all day. Forget about replacing your dress shirts every 6 months. With Serve Clothing's unbeatable 2-year guarantee, you know your shirt is built to last through the toughest work days in any climate. And giving back is a priority. Last year, Serve Clothing helped to outfit more than 750 missionaries and others in need using a portion of your orders. Don't wait. Serve shirts sold out 4 times last year. Visit serveclothing.com right now to get yours before they're gone. Serve Clothing. Dress shirts that actually serve you. Serveclothing.com.
Eye on the Hill, our special coverage of the upcoming session continues. On opening day, next Tuesday, KSL News Radio will be broadcasting live from Utah's Capitol Hill all day from 5 in the morning till 6:30 in the evening. Throughout the day, we'll be chatting with lawmakers, lobbyists, and experts about the legislation being proposed. Midday executive producer Andy Cupp has been setting up the schedule for the day. He joins me in the studio now live. And Andy, there's so much to cover every session. So what kinds of things will be prioritized for opening day here on KSL?
There are so many things. So like you mentioned, we're going to be up there from 5 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. So the entire day. And you think, oh, well, we'll get through a lot of stuff. But, I mean, remember last session, there were almost 1,000 bills that ended up being signed. So we're going to have a lot to get through. But it's really been interesting as we've been going through and looking at what exactly do we think is going to be important? What do we think is going to be the big issues that they're kind of focusing on in the legislative session? We've used that as kind of our guiding light for a lot of these. So, I mean, besides talking about the priorities, of course, we're also going to really focus in on a few things like homelessness. There's some legislation up on the Hill for homelessness. There's been lots of discussions about homelessness, especially with this new proposed homeless campus. Mm-hmm. There's a lot there. So that's going to be a really big focus, especially on Inside Sources in the morning on Tuesday. Additional ones on bell-to-bell phone ban bill. We've talked about this quite a bit already, but once those discussions start happening on Capitol Hill, that's kind of when any real interesting things start to come out. So we'll definitely be talking about that, as well as any other kind of education bills. Here on Midday especially, we're going to spend our 2 o'clock time period on Tuesday really going through a lot of the education-related bills.
Have you seen some that are really interesting?
There's a few that I've seen from the Republicans and from the Democrats dealing with citizenship education, like you just talked about, Senator Reeby's bill. Mm-hmm. There's some others that would provide education protections for student journalists. That's a really interesting one for us in the journalism industry, mm-hmm. especially. So I still need to do some more digging on exactly which ones we have to go through, but we're going to chat with some of the members of the education caucuses education committees, to really get some of those details and information. Another one that's been a real hot talker deals with public safety and firearms. So there are bills that have been introduced on Capitol Hill that look at public safety on college campuses. This is in relation to the Charlie Kirk assassination. Other ones with firearms and what you can and can't carry at these big events. And that one, of course, is in reference to the Afa Alu killing at the No Kings protest this last year. So that's going to be a really interesting one to see, where's the line between the Second Amendment and protections for public safety in general.
It's an open carry state.
Exactly. So that's going to be one to really watch. We're also going to spend some time, especially on Jeff Kaplan's afternoon news, trying to kind of humanize some of this. So, I mean, a lot of times we talk about the bills and everyone's eyes glaze over because it's like, what are you talking about anymore? Okay.
What's this bill thing?
Oof. But, we have new legislators. We have outgoing legislators. We have people who work behind the scenes. I mean, we like to all think of the people whose faces we see because we've elected them to the House or the Senate. But there are hundreds of people working behind the scenes that are actually helping to craft the language for these bills, that are helping with the marketing kind of communications, the PR for the bills, doing a lot of things behind the scenes that I think we kind of forget about. That this isn't just a bunch of elected officials. There are people whose job is to help run the session, to help run the state. So we're going to kind of get some insights from them, talk to them, figure out, what do people not know and not think about that they should be thinking about as this session goes on.
Right.
So there's a lot there. Like I said, 5 a.m. It's going to be an early start rise, but or early rise for the start, something like that.
And Amanda will have to do that part.
Oh yeah, we will have our normal schedule. Luckily.
We will, and so much to talk about. And really, these are the bills that affect you more personally than any others. That is Midday's Andy Cupp joining me in studio. And again, special Eye on the Hill coverage all day here on KSL News Radio as we broadcast live from the state capitol for the opening day of the session. We'll have interviews, analysis, more. That's next Tuesday, January 20th. And again, Andy just told you, the coverage begins at 5 in the morning, bright and early on Utah's Morning News with Amanda Dixon and Andy Farnsworth. Calling all pinball wizards, a massive competition this weekend to celebrate the love of the game. Details coming up after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by UCCU. Supercharge your savings at uccu.com. Ricky?
We are back to a crash-free commute on the Valley freeways. We do have traffic a little bunched up and slow, though, southbound I-15 in Midvale as you're passing 7200 south. It doesn't last long. By the time you're reaching 90th South Sandy, you're right back to the posted limit. Supercharge your savings with UCCU's high-yield savings certificates. The more you deposit, the more you earn. Visit uccu.com, select a high-yield savings option, and earn more. UCCU, love where you bank. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you've ever set New Year's resolutions before, you know how difficult it is to follow through because you have to wait to see the results. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and in honor of your New Year, New You resolutions, Any Hour Services is having our New Year, New System sale. From now until the end of February, Any Hour Services will give you $2,026 off a new furnace and air conditioner. And you don't have to wait to save the money. You get $2,026 off at the time of purchase. The only thing you have to do to qualify for our New Year, New System sale is call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate. When you call, there's no obligation to buy. Just schedule a time to meet that works best for you. Let me say that again. From now until the end of February, when you have Any Hour Services install a new furnace and air conditioner, we'll give you $2,026 off. Call Any Hour Services right now and schedule a free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at KSLNewsRadio.com/contests.
Every January, Duke's Jewelers celebrates another year serving the Springville community. And this year, they're doing it in a big way. It's the anniversary sale. And for 3 days only, January 22nd through 24th, all jewelry in the store is 50% off. That's right, half off everything in the case. Diamonds, gold, colored gemstones, signature pieces, everyday favorites. If it sparkles, it's on sale. And that's not all. For those dreaming up something one of a kind, special orders, custom design projects, and all watches are 25% off. Duke's Jewelers is proud to be a fourth-generation family-run business, and this sale is the Duke's way of saying thank you for supporting local, choosing Main Street, and trusting Duke's Jewelers with your most meaningful moments. But don't wait. These savings last just 3 days. January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville and shop the biggest sale of the entire year. Duke's Jewelers. Elevate every moment. Some exclusions apply.
When the new year hits, every business could use a little something to stay ahead. A lift, a jump start, an edge, or perhaps a boost. Like the all-new 5-year business boost from Comcast Business. It's the certainty of a price lock for 5 years on qualifying internet bundles. Plus, you'll have the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment, so your whole team can stay connected at a great rate. And to sweeten the deal, ask about a $500 prepaid card when you add 2 lines of mobile. It's the boost your business deserves. So sign up for the 5-year business boost and get a 5-year price lock on ultra-reliable Wi-Fi. Plus, ask about a $500 prepaid card. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/22/26, new customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees. Best Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Pinball Wizards in Utah are gearing up for a big competition this weekend. The Utah State Pinball Championships are taking place. The Utah Women's Rep for Pinball, Crystal Corey, joined me to tell us more about Utah's pinball community.
The pinball community in Utah, I would say, consists of a variety of people that you probably wouldn't spend time with under any other circumstances, but it's all the better for it. It's a group of people that are super welcoming, people who are obviously really interested in the sport, people that like spending time together, people who are interested in getting better at pinball. I like to tell folks, if you always like learning rules to games, if you always like improving your technique, then pinball is definitely for you because there's always something to learn.
Yeah, what is it about pinball that draws people together?
How do I say this? I feel like pinball is very coulda, shoulda, woulda in that there's always something to do. When you first start playing pinball, it's learning how to do the basics like start modes, double your bonus, things like that. As you progress, it's getting to mini wizard modes. As you progress, it's getting to wizard modes. And there's a lot of collaboration in that because people are more experienced than others. There's a lot of knowledge sharing. I think it's just a fun way to get together and compete in this hobby.
Okay, so talk about these championships. What exactly is happening?
Saturday, we have Open State Finals, which is the top 24 players in the state of Utah battling out to see who is our 2025 state champion. And then on Sunday, we have the Women's State Championship, which is the top 16 women in the state are also going to battle it out to see who's the reigning state champion for women's.
So you said top 24, top 16. How many people are there in this community?
I'm so glad you asked because this is the second year for Open State Finals that we've achieved super state status, which means we've had over 100 unique events and over 400 unique players. In 2025, I think our actual count was like 522. So like it's a pretty extensive community. We had over 80 women compete across women's events and open events. So it's bigger than you would think, I think.
Okay. How many events? I mean, what?
Over 100 unique events and over 400 unique players.
So kind of describe what those events are. Not all of them,
So there's
obviously. That's a lot.
How much time do you have?
Yeah, right.
So there's weekly tournaments, there's monthly tournaments, there's a variety of stuff. Basically, if you want to get involved, there's literally always tournaments happening in Utah. I know the lab up in Ogden has tournaments every Sunday. I do women's tournaments once a month. There's every other week, Quarters Arcade Bar does tournaments. If people are interested in playing, there's definitely opportunity for that.
Okay, so what does the winner get?
The winner gets, in both cases, they win a plaque that proclaims them as the state champion. They get some cash, get a chance to represent Utah at nationals, actually. So Open Nationals are at the beginning of March. This year they're being held in Chicago. And for women's nationals, they are at the end of March, and those are being held in Colorado.
So how many people are involved nationally then?
I think every state and all the provinces in Canada are involved in Open Nationals. For women's, it's a little less than that just because not every state is big enough to support like a separate women's scene, basically.
So if this is a nationwide thing, how many people are really involved in pinball? Or I should say, how do we compare to other states when it comes to a pinball community?
I would say Utah is definitely still growing. Obviously, we're respectable enough to achieve super state status. There's a lot of other states in the country that can't claim that. But I think compared to states like Colorado, states like California, even states like Indiana, I feel like our scene is still pretty small and pretty growing.
And is the public invited this weekend?
So we do have a couple public tournaments that folks are welcome to attend if they want to come check it out. Tonight, actually, we have a women's tournament being held at the Holiday in South Jordan. That's where women's is going to be held. And then Saturday, we have an open tournament that is open to everybody, regardless of age, gender, skill set, all of that. Saturday, also at the Holiday in South Jordan at 6.
Crystal Corey is the Utah women's rep for pinball. Pinball technology has changed over the years. Today, electronic components have led to the development of digital pinball machines and even virtual opportunities. Now, that's compared to the 70s, where pinball machines were a system of wired switches, relays, lights, and coils. Those machines created the iconic sounds that we still think of today that included mechanical rotating score reels and bells that chimed as the points were scored. Thank you so much for being with us today for Midday, and stay with us for the next hour.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Governor Spencer Cox says Utah is an economic powerhouse and he wants it to stay that way. Ahead of the coming legislative session, he sat down with other political and economic leaders to discuss the state of the Utah's economy. He says advancements like AI are having a disruption on the economy.
What's a little different about this disruption or this evolution that we're seeing right now is historically when we've had new tools, the disruption has really affected kind of the blue-collar workers in our economy. This one's coming for the doctors and the lawyers.
The time is 2 o'clock on Friday, January 16th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll get more details on what the governor thinks are the best opportunities for Utah's economy to grow. Also this hour,
we can get immediate relief to the American people, including rural America, and I hope to get Democrat votes.
President Trump calling on Congress to pass his health care framework. What exactly is he proposing? More on that coming up shortly. But first, our top stories. A Utah lawmaker wants to add a criminal penalty for parents who failed to properly store their guns. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
State Representative Andrew Stoddard is sponsoring a bill that, if passed, would subject parents to a Class C misdemeanor if they don't keep their gun in some kind of locked container and then their kid uses it or shows it off in public or they threaten someone with it.
This is a bill that's very similar in language to one that Florida passed after the Parkland shooting there. And what we want is for gun owners to be responsible.
Stoddard says the goal of this is not to push harsh criminal penalties, but rather to get everyone's attention and take the issue seriously.
I'm not looking at this all rainbows and unicorns where this is going to solve all our problems. It's not. But I think anything we can do to, one, increase awareness that this is an issue and a solution is going to help.
The bill also adds legal protections for parents when, in the worst case scenario, they wouldn't face criminal charges if they can prove their gun was stored properly. Stoddard also made it clear this bill would not target parents whose children die by accidental gun suicide, but he does think this bill could help prevent more of those tragedies from happening. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story from ABC News. During a round-table event this morning, President Trump said he might impose tariffs on countries that don't back his efforts to acquire Greenland. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has the latest.
President Trump is threatening to put tariffs on countries if they don't support his push for the U.S. to acquire Greenland.
I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland, because we need Greenland for national security.
European allies have expressed strong objections to the president's repeated calls for the U.S. to take over Greenland, a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark. His threat of new tariffs raises questions about what it would mean for trade deals his administration reached last year with the U.K. and the European Union. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Your money at this moment at the close. The Dow down by 83 points, still ending above the 49,000 mark, though, ending at 49,359. S&P down by 4 points. The NASDAQ down by 14 points. Traffic and weather brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU, love where you bank. Ricky?
We've had an accident in Box Elder County, southbound I-15 in Tremonton, but it's been moved out of traffic. And we still have some bunched up traffic southbound I-15 between the South Interchange through Midvale. Not really sure what's causing that. Doesn't last long, but be prepared for reduced speeds. Put your energy into the fight song, not fighting for parking. You win when you take UTA to the game. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Nice to see some of that inversion lift. Today's high up to 42 degrees and staying pretty much the same through the weekend. Looks like our next chance of rain, though, not until next Thursday, and it's very slight at that. 38 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
If you run a small business, it's not easy to keep the doors open for 40 years. But back in 1986, Advanced Window Products got to work with a simple formula. Build state-of-the-art custom windows and frames right here in Utah, made specifically for our tricky Utah climate. Sell them direct to consumer without the middleman markup. Install those windows and guarantee them for life. The formula's worked because with the new year, Advanced is celebrating its 40th anniversary with the New Year New Windows sale. $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. If yours are leaking cold air, look hazy, need replacement, it's time. Advanced will create new windows, any style, any color. It's all custom, and you can finance your new windows for as low as $150 a month. Save now, pay later, invest in your number one asset, your home, with a company serving the community for 40 years. Call Advanced Window Products for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100 or advancedwindows.com.
My friend Joey means well.
Always remember that the early bird gathers no moss.
But he gets a little confused.
You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a wooden nickel.
Like Joey, many of us can be confused when it comes time to plan for retirement. When to take Social Security, how to use that 401k, what about the stock market, taxes, and Medicare? Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management can help to simplify retirement planning. His goal is to have you walk into retirement with confidence, not worry, and to address the number one concern among retirees today, the fear of running out of money. Call Galileo Wealth today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting to talk about the details of your retirement. 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000. Or online, GalileoWealth.com. And remember,
one man's trash is thicker than water. Of course, water's not thick at all. It's watery.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Governor Spencer Cox says Utah is an economic powerhouse, and he wants it to stay that way. At an economic forum today, the governor said state lawmakers are expected to file 500 to 600 bills impacting the economy this legislative session. Governor Cox also sat down with former Arizona Senator Kristen Sinema to discuss the biggest challenges the state faces, but also some areas where we're doing really well.
We've also invested in really smart ways. I think when it comes to AI, something I know Senator Sinema cares deeply about, in these sandboxes, so that we can give you an exemption from a rule to figure out your product and make sure it's working, and then we can work with the legislature to change that rule in any way we need to. So that's what we're trying to do. The last one that's the most important to me, of course, and you saw this in Phil Dean's presentation, and that is the barrier to building houses in this state for our kids and grandkids. Those barriers still exist. They exist all across the country. A report came out this week showing where those barriers are in every single one of our communities. We can do better, and we will do better this legislative session.
Yeah. The governor acknowledges that AI has its pros and its cons.
AI will take some of our jobs, and what's a little different about this disruption or this evolution that we're seeing right now is historically when we've had new tools, the disruption has really affected kind of the blue-collar workers in our economy. This one's coming for the doctors and the lawyers and so that's exactly right. The plumbers are going to do really well in this evolution.
Actually, all construction.
100%.
The person that installs your gas meter is going to do just fine.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so, again, I don't know that matters, but I do think it's interesting to kind of think through, and we're going to have to think through it. This can unlock the keys to making humanity so much better. The medical breakthroughs that are happening now. This isn't future stuff. I mean, it's happening right now. Are just incredible, and we should be very, very excited about this. It's going to make life better for all of us, and it can make life much worse for many, many people. And we, as policymakers, as business leaders, we have to be thoughtful about this. And Utah really is leading the nation. We created the first of its kind, really anywhere in the world, an AI policy lab, where we are working together with AI companies to figure out what the regulation should look like to protect our kids, to protect our families. But we can't, again, we can't protect every job. That's not going to be the case. So what are we going to do to make sure that AI is human-centered, that it works for us instead of us working for it?
Several protesters made their voices heard during the panel, but for reasons not associated with Governor Cox or the economy. Instead, the insults were directed towards former Senator Sinema due to a recent lawsuit in which she is accused of having affairs with her security guard. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but there's another possible government shutdown looming. Lawmakers are working right now to pass a slew of budget bills to keep federal operations afloat past January 30th. Today on Inside Sources, Congresswoman Celeste Malloy joined the show to share an update on where they are in the budget process and whether or not she thinks we'll get to the end of the month without a budget.
There are 12 appropriations bills. We have now passed 6 of them through both chambers, so we are halfway there.
Oh, good.
More than halfway through the total budget amount. You know, half of the bills is more than half of the money. But in October, we had a total government shutdown. None of the bills had been passed. Now we have half of them passed. So even if the other half didn't pass, which I think they will, half of the government stays funded. So it won't be an October type situation again.
Okay.
Including, you know, military, VA, Capitol Police, some of the things that were some of the most upsetting, heart-wrenching stories during the shutdown.
Oh, yeah.
Those are funded for the year. And it's easy in the chaos to lose track of just how important this is. We are passing a Republican budget for the first time since 2009.
Wow. It's been that long?
Yeah. We've had, you know, mixed government and CRs, and we've limped through a lot of things. So as I walked in, you were talking about regular order.
Yeah.
This isn't quite regular order, but it's the closest we've been in a long time. All 12 of the House's appropriations bills went through committee markup.
Wow.
That's a really big deal. And these have been negotiated by the appropriations cardinals, by the subcommittee chairs. So this isn't the four corners. This isn't the leadership in both chambers coming together and coming up with something and foisting it on the rest of Congress. This is Congress doing its job. And I know I've seen that there's some people on the internet this morning who are really upset about things that are in individual bills. And I just want to point out, especially with the national security bill, the one that used to be SFOPS, now it's NRDC. It is a 16% cut in foreign aid.
Wow.
And it's not just a 16% overall cut. The Cardinal, Mario Diaz-Balart from Florida, he knows this stuff so well. And he went in and made sure that we are giving carrots to our allies and sticks to our enemies. This is not what's been happening the last few years where we've given money to countries that hate us and they're using our own funds to go out and message against America. He really dug in to that budget and made sure that we defunded things like UNRWA that helped Hamas invade Israel. And he made sure that the organizations that are getting money are organizations that are actually helping with America's goals in the world. That is a really, really important benchmark that I hope people don't lose sight of. First of all, cutting any appropriations bill by 16% in 1 year is historic. That never
I was going to say that
happens.
That surprises me.
Yeah.
Like, that's significant.
And that's how, even with increases in defense spending, we have overall cuts in spending with these appropriations bills. This is a huge accomplishment. And there will be naysayers. There will be people who don't like a detail in a bill here and there, but funding the entire government, there are going to be things in there to disagree with. There will always, there is no such thing as a federal budget that will make everyone happy. But if you care about debt, deficit, and America being strong on the world stage, this is the appropriation season you should be really excited about.
That is Representative Celeste Malloy on Inside Sources this morning. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but you can't because of bad feet? Hi, this is Mike, and the Good Feet store wants to help.
I just had difficulty walking. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet, knees, or back problems get in the way of staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm bowling 3 nights a week.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you with high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
If you're struggling with your mortgage, there's a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
President Trump pushing for lawmakers on Capitol Hill to move ahead with his proposed health care plan.
I'm calling on Congress to pass this framework into law so that we can get immediate relief to the American people, including rural America, and I hope to get Democrat votes.
He's calling it the Great Healthcare Plan, and he says it will lower the overall health costs for American families. ABC News' Elizabeth Schulze has details.
This is a plan that the president has been teasing for years, saying that he has an option to try to bring down healthcare costs for Americans. Of course, we have seen prices for many Americans skyrocket since the start of the year when those expanded credits in the Affordable Care Act expired. So what the president is proposing here, as you say, light on details, but it seems to center on this idea that the government would put money into a health savings account for people, and then you could use that money to buy health insurance or other expenses. The fact sheet that was released by the White House also talks about the need for insurance companies to be more transparent about their pricing, to be clearly publicizing their denial rates, how much they are offering for coverage. And it would also codify into law some of these ideas that the president has been pushing on his own, trying to get companies to offer drug prices at similar rates in the U.S. compared to other countries. This has been a big focus of the president's, putting this pressure on private companies to bring their pricing in the U.S. more in line with what you might see in Europe, for example. So this is something the president has said is a key priority. He is clearly trying to message that, but a lot of questions about how this would actually work. And at the end of the day, the really important point here is that this would need to be passed by Congress. This would need to be put into law. The White House is saying they're having conversations with people on the Hill, but this is an issue that we have seen a lot of back and forth with. And at the end of the day, even the momentum that we saw in some of those expanded ACA subsidies, that has seemed to be fizzling a little bit. So this is going to be an uphill battle in many ways. We saw a similar proposal from Senator Bill Cassidy, a Republican, when it comes to these health savings accounts. That was last year, did not get enough votes to pass the Senate. There is an understanding in Congress that something needs to be done about these health care costs. When those subsidies expired at the start of the year, 20 million Americans saw their premiums go up, many as much as doubling, sometimes more than that. There is a concern that people will look at their bills as they start to see those bills come in this month and in the next few months, that they will say, this is simply too high for me, and they'll drop insurance altogether. So we're seeing a lot of proposals. We have seen proposals on the Hill. How much momentum now that the president has kind of thrown his support behind these ideas, that's what we're going to be watching for the days, weeks, months ahead.
This morning, the president told reporters that he was making it his mission to ensure drug prices come down, especially in comparison to other countries who pay significantly less for many prescription drugs.
Other nations, whoever pays the lowest in the world, that's what we're going to pay. Right now, we're paying sometimes 10 times higher than other nations. So we have favored nations. That's been approved. Other nations have, for the most part, agreed to it, and they had no choice. Otherwise, we were going to put tariffs on them.
The president also said giving Americans subsidies directly to buy their own insurance will end the massive waste of funding that goes directly to insurance companies. The air is supposed to clear up just a bit today. I don't know, still seems pretty gunky out there. But after the break, we'll take a look at new tech that could help you track this soupy air when the inversion settles in. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by UCCU. Supercharge your savings at uccu.com. Ricky?
And Maria, you were right. Pea soup was the way we had it for quite some time, causing reduced speeds in spots and definitely low visibility along some of Utah's roadways. A lot of that has started burning off. However, right now we still have traffic that's crowded and slow southbound I-15 from the south interchange through Midvale, and an accident reported southbound Bangalore Highway at California Avenue, blocking a lane of travel. Your ultimate destination for the hottest new cars and trucks, off-road vehicles, exotics, and more is at the Utah Auto Expo, the 16th through the 19th at Mountain America America Expo Center. Tickets at autoshowutah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Happy New Year, Susan. I really appreciate you picking up the bill for lunch.
I'm happy to. One of my New Year's resolutions is being better with money. So I've started using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for buying gas.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I earn cash back just for buying the gas I was already buying.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make $200 to $300 this year.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play and start earning cash back on everyday gas purchases. Use promo code RIDER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents per gallon on your next fill up. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RIDER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RIDER. Code RIDER. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today. 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
Hi, it's Julie. January is normally a winter wonderland in Logan, but instead we're wondering about winter altogether. Ugh, this weather. It's easy to get stuck in a rut this time of year, so get in your car and escape to Logan for a refreshing change of pace. Get a hotel, swim in the pool, and check out great restaurants that are new to you. Catch Aggie basketball, gymnastics, or hockey, and especially Aggie ice cream. Bull Tracks is my personal favorite, in case you were wondering. Take in a live performance or see a classic flick at the Utah Theater. Throw hatchets, go bowling, or ice skate outdoors. Ski the Beeve and check out their new lodge, or rent snowmobiles in Logan Canyon. Enjoy a sleigh ride through a giant herd of elk. I don't really know if you should pack winter boots or galoshes and an umbrella, but either way, your Logan stay will be packed with fun, great food, and beautiful scenery. Just get here. Check out explorelogan.com/winter, explorelogan.com/winter, explorelogan.com/winter.
Are you ready for a new you in the new year? The Salt Lake City Fat Loss Program has helped thousands of frustrated men and women feel confident in their clothes, boost their energy, and finally feel like themselves again. So, what's the secret? Salt Lake City Fat Loss uses a science-proven plan to help reset your metabolism and lose up to 1 pound of fat per day without dangerous drugs or exercise. And right now is the perfect time to start. Due to overwhelming demand, Salt Lake City Fat Loss has extended their huge New Year's sale, over 20% off for a limited time only.
I'm Jeff Kaplan. I lost 32 pounds and my belly doesn't hang over my belt. Plus my blood pressure's down and my old clothes fit.
Whether you want to love what you see in the mirror again, boost your energy, fit better in your clothes, or feel more confident and healthier as you age, Salt Lake City Fat Loss works. Huge New Year's sale is ending soon. Schedule your free consultation today at slcfatloss.com and lock in your savings. That's slcfatloss.com. Results may vary.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray And new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A bit of relief on the horizon today. The inversion is weakening just a little bit as a high atmosphere system pushes past us. But the relief looks to be temporary. Could build right back up next week. With that in mind, you might be interested in a new app that can give better information on air quality and how this gunky, soupy, chewy even air can affect you throughout the day. The app Flow AQ was developed by 3 University of Utah researchers. Chase Armstrong with the Use Technology Office says their work evolved from research done on the effects of recent wildfires.
Their research originally focused on wildfire smoke modeling and using physics-based modeling, and so kind of predicting where smoke might move and how that affects things. And so that was the start of their original research, and now it's matured into the launch of the company, Trace Air Quality, and really expanded their scope and tracking a lot more different air quality metrics. One of the things that makes them unique and kind of, innovative in the market is they use a physics-based modeling system where a lot of other apps use machine learning, kind of AI-based prediction models. They've been able to increase the accuracy and just it's a whole physics engine behind it that's powering these more accurate forecasts, where a lot of times we nowadays have really good monitoring of current air quality metrics, but it can be hard to accurately predict into the future what the air quality is going to look like different times of day. And so, use cases like athletic teams and scheduling practices in advance, having that data ahead of time, especially in an area like Salt Lake, where we deal with inversions, wildfire smoke in the summer, gives them more advanced notice to be able to prep and schedule things around. And if you're just a recreational person, knowing, should I go on my run in the morning or should I go on my run in the afternoon? And you might have more accurate data that just allows you to plan life around the air quality. And then also industrial uses, different things. There's kind of just being able to map future planning for where the air quality is.
The inversion has given Utah a top ranking for the worst air, making air quality a prominent health concern. Armstrong says the company will continue to research different ways that the Flow AQ app can be used. One good way to help reduce the amount of pollution in the area is to ride public transportation. UTA's Gavin Gustafson says taking a bus or a train makes a big difference.
What UTA is doing is what we always do, which is providing an option for people to get from point A to point B without driving their cars. So, vehicles, of course, are the biggest contributors to air pollution, and luckily, our vehicles carry a whole bunch of people. So, for example, a bus, you can squeeze 70 people into a bus, 40 comfortably, right? The front runner train, those cars hold comfortably 150 people. We could also squeeze in almost 250 or so into each car. But even at just the 150 level, each train has 3 cars. That's 450 vehicles that would get off the road. So it's available to everybody here, and a lot of our vehicles are electric, so have no emissions or clean natural gas or clean diesel. So while they do have emissions, they carry a lot more people and get a lot of vehicles off of the road.
And he says more and more people are getting the message.
I've talked to some operators. I ride the train as much as I can, and I myself have seen more people ride. So, I think a lot of us understand that we all and our vehicles contribute to the inversion. And so there's a lot of people that are leaving their car at the parking ride and riding the bus or riding the train.
Gustafson says public transportation doesn't just help here in the valley. He says the same advice applies to people headed up the canyons to ski.
Every person on the bus is, one vehicle less on the road, right? So the ski bus certainly is a fantastic way to get up to the mountains without literally having to drive yourself. Those buses, packed full, will take about 72 people. And so that's 72 or at least up to 72 cars that are not on the road. And each one of those cars is emitting emissions, and those canyons are narrow, and the air can get even worse faster in those canyons because it's such a small space. So that's just another way that we all can do our part to at least not make the inversion a little worse by getting your car off the road.
Vehicles are the biggest contributors to air pollution, which gets trapped in the cold air at the valley floors. As the inversion weakens this weekend, then strengthens again next week, make sure you are staying informed on current air quality conditions. You can check our air quality maps on the free KSL Weather app, or you can just go to your phone or tablet's app store and search for KSL Weather. It's 2:30, midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Protests today over a rumored ICE detention facility coming to Salt Lake City's west side. Gas prices continue to fall here in Utah, but why? We'll get some answers. And KSL traffic, Ricky?
We do have crews clearing a crash southbound Bangerter at California Avenue. Maria?
Don't expect much change in the forecast. It looks like we have to look all the way till Thursday of next week to see any precipitation in it. Then it's only a 10% chance. It's 2:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Despite Denmark officials telling the U.S. Greenland is not for sale or up for grabs, President Trump still pushing to take over the Danish territory and today making new threats.
I may put a tariff on countries if they don't go along with Greenland because we need Greenland for national security.
A bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers in Denmark today meeting with leaders opposing the president's plan, including GOP Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski.
Greenland needs to be viewed as our ally, not as an asset.
Clashes breaking out again in Minneapolis as demonstrations build over immigration operations. President Trump today says he does not see the need to invoke the Insurrection Act right now, but it remains a possibility. The president telling reporters today he decided not to strike Iran after learning Iranian leaders would not hold mass executions for hundreds arrested in recent protests. The Pentagon, though, still planning to send additional military assets to the Middle East, according to several people familiar with the discussions. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Another milestone today in the breakup of the Alpine School District. The new district taking shape in northern Utah County now has an official name.
Board members finalized the name after weeks of discussion and public input.
We're meeting behind closed doors. We're trying to be as transparent as possible in our processes. It comes here in front of our public to vote on it.
That vote ultimately passed 6-1, officially naming the new system the Timpanogos School District. The district will serve communities including Linden, Pleasant Grove, Orem, and Vineyard as they prepare to break away from the Alpine School District. One board member voted against the name, but the majority says settling on an identity is a key step as the district works toward launching with its own leadership, boundaries, and branding. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following with another major deadline to avoid a government shutdown approaching. Congresswoman Celeste Malloy wants us not to worry. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott reports.
Congress is racing to pass budget bills ahead of the January 30th deadline. Utah Congresswoman Celeste Malloy tells inside sources that even if the government does shut down this time, it won't be like what we saw in October.
In October, we had a total government shutdown. None of the bills had been passed. Now we have half of them passed. So even if the other half didn't pass, which I think they will, half of the government stays funded, so it won't be an October-type situation again.
Malloy says thanks to several provisions they've passed, the Capitol Police, the VA, and the U.S. military will remain funded. Cameron Elliott, KSL News Radio.
A look at your money at this moment. The Dow ending the day down 83 points to end at 49,359. S&P down by 4 and the NASDAQ down by 14 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Supercharge your savings at uccu.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
We did have left lanes blocked at the intersection of southbound Bangerter Highway at California Avenue. A lot of debris in the intersection as well. Crews have made fast work of that. All lanes are now open. Still some busy and slower traffic southbound I-15 at the South Interchange into 7200 South. Join 3-time Tony Award winner Patti LuPone January 26th at Abravanel Hall as she celebrates the 25th anniversary of her acclaimed concert, Matters of the Heart. Tickets on sale now at utahsymphony.org. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
When it comes to the forecast, what you see is what you get. It's going to stay pretty much the same all the way through the weekend. A next chance of rain on Thursday. 39 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers,
we've been overindulging a little more than usual over the holidays. But now, we are starting the new year off on a healthier note by taking Active Liver supplements from New Nordic every day.
Active Liver contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, all natural ingredients that help protect the liver so that it can protect you from toxins. It's like giving my body a daily detox. I've never felt better, and my energy is through the roof.
And my doctor is already impressed with how much better my numbers are looking. So if better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or pick some up today at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery. Are now available at Wegmans. New year, new you, new Nordic.
Do you have an IRA or 401k? It's natural to think of this as being your money, right? But remember, you still have to pay taxes when you withdraw this money in retirement. And you could be paying a lot more in taxes on these accounts than you know. A lot more. Learn the strategies that can help you reduce or eliminate your taxes in retirement. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL News Radio 102.7.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Happening right now, the judge in the court case for Tyler Robinson, man accused of killing Charlie Kirk, is speaking about the prosecution right now and the defense's claims that the prosecutors should be removed from that case. Let's listen in.
Between that offspring and other family members that may have been communicated to the parent, communications between the parent and other people in the office, impact. Okay, so now I'm going to just say, if I had found out that my child was at an incident where somebody was shot and killed, I would have an incredibly strong emotional reaction, even if they were safe. Okay, so give me a second, okay? There was a horrible shooting incident at Brown University a few weeks ago. And I have a child who lives within 20 miles of there who was in Providence that day. And everybody in our family was really freaked out until we knew that they were safe. And then even when we knew they were safe, the question was, what did you see? Did it affect you? Turned out everybody's fine. But it's not just, oh, I was there, right? And my family member didn't witness a shooting. Wasn't in a crowd with 3,000 people who all had to run and take cover in case there were more shots fired, in case there were some other harm that occurred, okay? So it's not just the fact that this person was 85 feet away from Mr. Kirk. It's that begins to, that scratches the surface, if I may, of the totality of the circumstances, which we think created a conflict of interest. So the answer is yes, and that's why both the parent and the offspring are here and are under subpoena and agreed to be here and agreed to testify. Obviously, it's the court's proceeding, but nobody's moved to quash, and I think it's obvious that that's because we need further factual development. And our reply brief, if it did anything, it communicated to the court the case law, which shows that this is a fact-intensive inquiry and that affidavits are required. And here we don't have affidavits from the parent or from Mr. Gray. We have argument in a brief. But we also believe that testimony from the offspring is necessary, and they're here, and they agreed to be here, and they agreed that Ms. Visser could sign an acknowledgement of service of a subpoena. So the very, very long answer to the court's question is yes, definitely. We need to have an evidentiary hearing.
But isn't defense required to make the threshold showing from the facts that you're asserting? Isn't that where we begin? Not necessarily the state's response, but don't you have a responsibility to show that you've made a threshold showing of what you're asserting would rise to what you're asserting in your motion?
So the state, so the Utah County attorneys informed us that this offspring was present in a crowd, was caught up in the ensuing chaos, heard a shot fired, had to leave their belongings behind, witnessed the trauma of other people. We can't really get beyond that without fact development. And if what the court is saying, hypothetically, is I want you to go sit down and interview people, that's one thing. But if the court's saying that we somehow should have more information than the county has given us, we can't do that without evidentiary development. Okay? We have questions about whether there were more non-recorded communications that we haven't been told about. I think we have a good faith, and the court could imagine that a family would talk about such an incident, and it wouldn't just be the text messages that the court has in the exhibit. And I don't purport to say anybody should run their family the way my family operates. I'm just talking about what I think would be natural, which is...
So you are listening to the defense attorney in the Charlie Kirk case. This is Tyler Robinson's attorney, and he is making the motion that one of the prosecutors should be taken off of this case because the prosecutor had a child that was at the shooting when Charlie Kirk was killed, and saying that that represents a conflict of interest. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is in the courtroom. He will have more details on the hearing throughout the afternoon. I hope you will stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your...
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Dozens of protesters gathered today to protest the building of an ICE facility in Salt Lake City. This is based on a leaked document that lists an address in Salt Lake as a possible mega center facility that will house about 7,500 immigrants. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson visited the protest this morning to get us more details.
Today's events all stem from this internal document that was apparently leaked to some news agencies. On that spreadsheet are 23 potential sites for ICE to build processing and large-scale immigration detention facilities. Salt Lake City is on that list. It says there's more than 1 million acres around 1197 North and 6550 West that could house 7,500 beds. That list also said a site visit was scheduled for today to scope it out, and that's why there were protesters there this morning.
So what do we know about this site?
So I talked with one of the protesters, Michael Valentine, who's with Utah for Palestine, but this is also a very close issue to his heart. He says this is really what they know so far.
And they have ones that are like light processing sites where they're supposed to hold up to 1,500 people, and then just like move people to these larger mega sites. And that's kind of what this list that was leaked potentially is like ours would be a mega site that holds 5,000 to 10,000 people, which is absolutely crazy because this warehouse is not geared for that. There's not the plumbing for that. There's not the infrastructure to house that many people. And in the article in the Washington Post, there was this horrific quote from the director of ICE saying that they need to be more organized like a business, and they want to start housing people like Amazon ships packages but for human beings, which is absolutely crazy to hear, and just this really dehumanizing.
So I set out to verify what he told me, and I can tell you that the address listed is a large warehouse. I looked at it today. It appears empty, but it is massive, and it's part of one of 4 buildings that are all owned by this so-called company XR Quadrant LLC, and that appears to be owned by the Ritchie Group, which is a local real estate company. This is in the industrial area west of the airport, not far from the massive Amazon fulfillment center. We've reached out to those companies for verification or comment, but haven't heard back. I also reached out to the city and state representatives who represent this district of Salt Lake City, but no one's responded yet to calls for comment or verification. So to clarify, this is still all based on a leaked document, as well as some other prior reporting from agencies like the Washington Post, who say Salt Lake City is one of the target cities for these ICE facilities.
Okay, so you went and talked to these protesters. What are some of the other things you heard from them?
So I had an interesting conversation with a man named Charlie Padilla. He's with the We the People movement, and he told me why this site and why today are they protesting.
Here, they are proposing that they use these commercial spaces owned by the Ritchie Group, and they want to convert them into concentration camps for our immigrant community. And, you know, it doesn't matter where they go up. It doesn't matter what space they try to use. We will reject it. We will fight it. Specifically for these, they're not zoned correctly. They're zoned for commercial use and not for housing people and doing any human rights violations that they're going to be doing. And they want to put these in commercial spaces. And, you know, again, those are just, the justification for this specific instance. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter what the resource is. We cannot allow for these camps to be put up in our neighborhoods, in our state, or even in our country or anywhere else. Anywhere that they try to put it, we will show up and we will fight it.
There was about 24 or so protesters there. I wasn't there quite at the beginning, but definitely a lot of strong feelings about an ICE facility coming to Salt Lake City, and especially at this site here today.
Okay, before this document was leaked, was there any word of a proposed ICE facility for Salt Lake?
Yeah, the Washington Post and a couple other news agencies have previously talked about Utah being a site. We know at some point that Hill Air Force Base was on the list of proposals. I haven't heard anything about that recently, but yeah, this site was visited by government officials today as a potential location. So we'll see how this shakes out.
And that was KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson. And just a short time ago, we did get a statement from one of the public officials who represent this land. State Senator Luz Escamilla represents the district where this possible facility could go and says she hasn't been informed about any ICE facility plans. Her team tells us they've been finding out about this at the same time as the community, and they describe this development as horrific. It's the end of the week, so we'll check in with the Arrow's John Smith to find out what cool stuff is happening in Utah this weekend. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU, love where you bank. Ricky?
The crash has been completely cleared southbound Bangerter Highway at California Avenue. No other accidents, but already seeing slowdowns for your afternoon commute. It's southbound I-15 from the I-84 junction down to Roy in Weber County. New year, new home ideas. The South Jordan Home Show is this weekend at the Bastion Agri Center. Meet local contractors, explore the latest in home improvement, and save time and money. Free admission and parking. Details at southjordanhomeshow.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you've ever experienced running out of hot water before your shower was done, or hard water spots on dishes and fixtures, I've got a deal you might be interested in. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and you probably already know that a tankless water heater and a water softener solve both issues. If you've ever thought about looking into getting a tankless water heater, here's the deal I was talking about. Through the end of February, we're including a free water softener with every new tankless water heater we install. The best part of this deal might be that you never have to worry about being the last one to the shower again, or that you don't have to waste the money keeping 40 to 50 gallons of water hot 24/7. To take advantage of this deal, call Any Hour Services before the end of February. The visit's free and there's no obligation to buy. If you decide to have us install a new tankless water heater, we'll throw in the water softener for free. That's right, a free water softener when you purchase a tankless water heater. Pick up the phone and call Any Hour Services right now for all the details. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family is banking on bandwidth. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger. But your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Motorists getting a bit of a break at the pump this week. Gas prices have fallen slightly, even as tensions rise between the U.S. and oil-producing nations.
Well, Utah has seen declining gas prices really for a month, and that decline has continued despite what we just saw over the holidays, which was record travel. So it's been good news for drivers around Utah and really around much of the country.
AAA's John Trainer says we are sitting at an average of $2.62 per gallon here in Utah, 40 cents lower than last year. And the national average is down from last year, too, sitting at about $2.84 a gallon. He says a number of factors are contributing to the drop.
One, demand is down, supply is high, and globally, oil prices are low. They have been for really about a month, and the price of a barrel of oil is really reflective of about 60% of what you pay at the pump. So it's a big thing. When crude oil prices are low, you typically see lower gas prices.
Trainer tells KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman changes in the price of crude oil do take some time to trickle down to Utah.
Typically what we see happening with crude oil prices is whatever the price of a barrel of oil, you'll see at the pump in about 2 weeks to a month, depending. But yeah, geopolitical climates are very complex. Oil is a global commodity. So when we look at the price of gas in the United States, we have to look at a lot of things. We have to look at consumer spending in the United States, how many people are buying gasoline. We have to look at how much gas is being produced by oil refineries across the country. Weather plays a role, maintenance plays a role, and certainly anything that could change the price of a barrel of oil could play a role as well.
He says, well, it's not unusual for prices to drop over the winter. The size of this year's drop is notable.
This is a trend. Normally, we do see lower gas prices over the summer, and that decline really starts after Labor Day travel, which is the last really big summer travel season. As weather gets a little bit worse, winter weather sets in, fewer people are driving, so demand goes down, and supply remains fairly robust. We also have the winter gas blend, which is a cheaper form of gasoline being sold than we see over the summertime. So those things are what we typically see. This year, however, we're seeing lower gas prices than we have really since 2021.
Whether the downward trend in prices will continue is anyone's guess. Trainer says while the geopolitical climate could play a role in that, it's hard to say for sure.
It's really tough to see, and AAA typically doesn't make projections on where gas prices are going to go because there is just so much that you have to consider, and we don't have a crystal ball. So I can't comment on what the situation in Venezuela, what effect it's going to have immediately or even in the near or distant future. But I will say that, we always look at the price of crude oil, and whatever happens with the price of crude oil typically will affect America in one way or the other.
John Trainer is a spokesperson for AAA, talking about the biggest dip in gas prices in the last 5 years. It's Friday. That means it's time for Cool Stuff in Utah with the Arrow's John Smith. And John, tell us about your latest video. What cool stuff did you find this week?
I got to go hang out at the Burt Brothers Motor Park, the Utah Motorsports Campus out in Tooele.
Oh, that's such a fun place.
It's so much fun. I can't believe I don't go out there more often because I live like right next door. Like that's my neighborhood.
I can't believe you don't either. I live far. And
I can literally hear the cars from my living room when they're racing. And I didn't realize that they did so much out there. They've got an off-road track. They've got a rock crawling course. They do lessons. Of course, the road course that they've got out there for the supercars and the NASCAR style racing. But they also let you go out and drive go-karts and have all sorts of fun.
I think it is super fun. I've not actually ridden in the go-karts, but I have known people who have gone out and played in the go-karts. And if you've never been able to ride in a go-kart, it's a great experience.
It was a little cold, so I didn't do the go-karts. But
you didn't do the go-karts?
In the video, I did go on the dirt track where people normally drive their side-by-sides, and I took my car, my Nissan.
I was going to say, do you have a car that goes on dirt roads?
Yeah, no. I mean, every car goes on dirt roads, right?
Well, kind of, depending on the terrain. Maybe a flat dirt road with no bumps.
So if you want to see what happens when I take my personal four-door sedan onto a dirt course with a professional stuntman by the name of Jim York, who's with the Nitro Circus crew.
What were you thinking?
It was so much fun. We even have drone shots of it.
Now we need a new car.
Oh yeah, she was so mad.
I'm sure of it.
But that's all on the video, which you can find on YouTube. Just look for Cool Stuff in Utah. It's on the Arrow app. It's on the KSL app, and we'll be on TV this afternoon.
Okay, and the reason people do want to see this is because they can go out and do the stuff.
Of
Maybe
course,
not with
some
a
of it.
stunt man.
You can go out and watch some of it. You can go out and do some of it, and you can learn about all of it, which is a lot of fun.
Okay, so what is happening this weekend?
Okay, so a lot of sports. We're getting ready. There's some concerts coming up,
sports
but
fan.
Most of the concerts and stuff are going to be start happening later this month when Sundance comes to town. Starting this, I think that starts on the 22nd. So you're going to start seeing some bands and some movie stars out in Park City. It's the last year before they move to Colorado,
Right.
So it should be fun. But this weekend we've got the Utah Mammoth taking on Seattle. That'll be an early game tomorrow. That'll be a matinee, if you will, 3 p.m. at the Delta Center. You've got the Grizzlies in town today, tomorrow, and Sunday.
And you can find John Smith's Cool Stuff in Utah videos on YouTube. Jeff Kaplan is here. Jeff Kaplan's afternoon news coming up. What are you doing this weekend?
Nothing. I had the flu, so I just want to recover more this weekend. Figure
You
after
just want to
that.
breathe again, don't you?
Well, it'd be nice to go outside and breathe. That'd be a change of pace.
Well, it's supposed to be a little bit better this weekend and then socked back in next week.
Yeah, the fog as well. That's going to be around next week, too.
Great.